alive, and we are here. Excuse me. You guys might have noticed that the anvil's facing a little bit of a different direction, and maybe later in the stream I'll show you guys what I've done to the shop. I've reoriented the shop just to make it a little more efficient for forging, make things a little bit easier to get access to in the middle of taking heats and whatnot. But today's stream is going to be fairly straightforward. I know nobody's in just yet, and it's a weird time to be streaming in the middle of the day, but I'll catch whoever I can catch. Basically, what we're going to be doing today is making twisting wrenches that are better than the twisting wrenches I've been using. So I have been using this mainly as a twisting wrench, and then I've been using these guys, these channel locks, but I don't want to use those channel locks for twisting wrenches anymore. I already ground the teeth off of this guy because I've been using it, like I said, as a twisting wrench before. And recently I've been able to pick up this old monkey wrench without any teeth, and this smaller pipe wrench that does have teeth, which I'll need to grind off. Shouldn't take very long. But I'm going to grind the teeth off of this. I'm probably going to round the edges on the bottom of this jaw, because I never did that, and it does still leave a little depression there, so I want to get rid of that. But the primary focus of today's stream is going to be making a second handle for these wrenches to make them into twisting wrenches for blacksmithing, as opposed to just doing, you know, a one-sided twist. Because what happens is, if you're twisting and you only have one handle on here, you can deviate that angle ever so slightly very easily. So when you're twisting, if it deviates even a little bit as you're going around, it'll bend your piece off angle, and you'll be left with a piece that doesn't work quite right. So that can be a pretty big problem. So to alleviate that, you weld another handle on the top so you can twist from both sides of your piece of material and keep it level easier, as well as have more control over when you're twisting, how much pressure you're applying, all that jazz. So we've got 2 pieces of rebar and 3 wrenches, meaning we're going to be making 3 handles. This one's kind of bent out of shape, so we're going to have to straighten that out in the forge before we cut it to the lengths we need. Because from what I understand, how would I put this? Basically, you need the distance from the center of the jaw to the end of the handle to be close to the same to get it even. So this will be just about perfect once I get it stretched and get that end looped. Because what we're basically going to be doing with these is flattening one side of the rebar, making a open scroll on one side that we can hang these from, so that way when they are hooked up like this, we can just hang them off of our loop near our vise for when we're twisting, so they're easier to access for when we want to twist stuff. And then we'll weld it on, obviously, to all of these. This one will still need the teeth ground off of it, but we'll get to that later. And since we want the length of the handles to be about the same as the length of the handles that are on these, essentially what I'm going to end up doing is straightening this piece of rebar out, measuring how long I want it, then cutting it off at the forge for both of these wrenches. So I'm going to stick this in, get it straightened out, and get our lengths cut. This will be in the fire already, just heating up, but we're not going to touch this until we get all 3 handle lengths laid out, measured, all that jazz. So we'll set this one aside since we already have the handle length for that established, and we'll set this in the forge. And then these 2, I'm actually going to put down here so I can measure before I hot cut. So give me just 2 seconds. I'm going to turn you guys over so you can see my forge. There we go. Put this side in because it's bent more. Give it all the appropriate attire for the situation. I always tell myself I'm not going to wear a hoodie because the hood gets caught trying to put on my apron. And I go and I wear a hoodie anyway. Okay. Use probably this guy. And that'll work. Alrighty, while that's heating up, I can address some things about the channel that have changed, so you guys know. Recently, I have finally been able to monetize my YouTube channel, so thank you guys, we've done it. I've officially been able to make an entire $3 on YouTube, which is awesome, because that's $3 less I have to spend on propane. Basically, the channel is now monetized, meaning you will start seeing ads on the channel, unfortunately. But that is a necessary evil in the modern day. Me trying to support the ability to keep doing this, to keep showing you guys stuff, to keep making stuff, aside from on Etsy, because I know it's hard for people to spend that kind of money right now. Sales have dropped, and that's understandable. The economy's kind of crappy at the moment. But that kind of has been keeping the channel afloat. And now that I can monetize the channel, that'll also help keep the channel going. It did add members as well. I think the $3 members gets you access to everything that I have uploaded, scheduled, because I schedule months out ahead of time, so I have somewhere in the neighborhood of like 10 to 12 long-form videos and a bunch of shorts, like a bunch of shorts that are all ready to be viewed by doing the members things. Super chats and all that stuff exists now. I'm not sure how it all works, but basically I'm set up on all of it. So I want to say a huge thank you to all of you guys that made it possible for me to reach this milestone and be able to monetize the channel, because I could not have done this without you guys. I know it's kind of boring to sit here and just have me chat at a wall sometimes, because, you know, the steel's heating up. It takes time for the steel to heat up, especially when you first light forward. The forward itself has to warm up. But I hope you guys get something out of these videos, these streams, whether it's a smile, whether it's a laugh, whether it's some knowledge, picking up something new. You know, I want to share my passion for this with all of you guys, and that's why I do this. That's why I started this. It didn't start out as me wanting to just, you know, sell a bunch of knives. It started out with me just loving weapons and wanting to make them, and evolved into something where I've been blessed enough to sell swords as far across the world as Paris. I mean, I'm in the States, I'm in Utah. To send a sword across the world was a cool experience. That was a crowning achievement in my life. And now I'm making these absurd green swords, all kinds of stuff. I mean, I never thought that I would get. Our steel's almost hot enough, so I'm gonna check on it real quick. Maybe move it around so it cooks up evenly. Because when you have steel in the forge, especially when you want to get something to move easier, you want to make sure it's heated all the way through. And oftentimes what will happen is if you have it sitting on one side, it'll heat on one area, but the other side won't get heated evenly, so you need to flip it in the stove like you would flip meat when you're cooking. Alrighty. But I hope you guys can tell already with how I've reoriented things in the shop. I need to unplug this. This is just causing problems. There we go. But I hope you guys can see from how the shop's oriented. I can swivel the camera to get you guys a pretty good view of the forge, a good view of the anvil, and all that stuff. So that's helpful. I'm working on figuring out different camera mounts and different places in the shop to do camera mounts to make it easier for you guys to see what's going on. Get the bend out of this piece real quick. bar that I have is long enough for both of these handles. If one of them has to be a little shorter, I can live with that, or I can just draw it a little thinner. I'd rather not draw it thinner if I don't have to, but we'll see what happens. Just chugged a Coke. There you go. Coca-Cola. I remember you, Roger. You was making Coca-Cola jokes in another one of my streams. How you doing? It's good to see you back. Right now, I'm just working on some twisting wrench handles. Where did I put that on? There it is. Getting some stuff prepped real quick. Basically, while it's heating up, just kind of sharpening up the edge on the hot cut a little with the file, because these things do get a lot of use in my shop. Doing good. I forgot the password to my original account, so I made a new one. I couldn't remember your channel name. Ah! No! Well, it's Hooker's Blades. Last name's Hooker. If you ever have trouble remembering, just think of, well, you know what I mean. A cheap time that's a good time, I guess I could say. Alright, where did I make that mark? There it is. My wife is headed in the chat. Hello. My wife has been summoned. Now we can go ahead and straighten this piece out. And let's see. Yeah, we'll actually have plenty. Probably need to cut a good 2 inches off once it's straight. So we'll heat this up and straighten it out next. How you doing? She called me handsome, boys. Get you guys looking at the fire. There we go. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. All that jazz. Whooshity, whooshity flames. any sharpening on this sword, and it's seen a lot of use. It's holding its edge really good, but I just figured I'd give the edge a quick touch up while I've got the time. A little bit of maintenance earlier goes a long way because of those mass-produced AI-generated videos. Oh, yeah. I've seen a couple of those using my... guys using my content. It's kind of frustrating because they're... You know, that AI slop gets a ridiculous amount of views, and no one knows that they're just stealing everybody else's content. And they usually, well, I mean, they are stealing everybody else's content, to be fair. And people know it, but there's just nothing we can really do about it, I guess. What's interesting to me is that the algorithm prefers to push that kind of slop out, as opposed to the people like me and the many others they steal from. Oh, yeah, that's good. Oh, my bad, I forgot to... my bad. I forgot to adjust the camera. I found you... I'm a handsome... Thank you, Roger. Thank you, Roger. I am a handsome mofo. Thank you. Would be nice to even see what you're doing. Yeah, sorry about that, wayward son. I'm still getting used to the new shop layout. So I literally, just yesterday, reorganized the whole shop. Because before, instead of being able to just adjust the camera by twisting it, I had to pick up the camera stand and move it in between everything in the shop. So if you think my shots are bad now, they're much worse before if you go back and watch the older streams. Roger can attest to that. But now we can finally start to actually move some steel, boys. So the first thing I'm going to do with all of these is flatten them out. Not like thin, but just enough to where they are not round, to where they're flat on one side and round on the edges. Because science tells me that if I have a round bar and all of the mass of that round bar is contained in that circle, and I apply leverage, it will take less leverage to bend it than if all of that mass is in a cylindrical shape with round edges. If I try to bend this way with it, it's going to take more force to do that. And since these are going to be for twisting wrenches and all the movement's going to be happening in one direction, want to make that rectangular, so that way in the direction point that we are twisting, we have the most active resistance in such a thin handle. Because I didn't want to sit here and use thick spring steel or something that's going to be a big pain to move. I wanted to have some buttery, simple, some easy to work with rebar. As hot as the others, because it was further away from the burner. It's okay. Still get some work done. Let those other irons heat back up a little bit. A raven flew by and told me to join the stream, so here I am. Tommy Alfredson, hello, hello. Thank you for joining. Welcome, welcome. We are making some handles for some twisty wrenches. The handles are going to be pretty easy to make. Honestly, I'm about halfway through the first step. So after we flatten, we're going to make a taper on one end and make that an open scroll. Then we might do some ornamentation. Probably not. Probably just make these simple and do a quick twist on the handles. Maybe not even that. But yeah, we're gonna make these into some twisty wrenches, so they'll be easier to use for twisting wrenches. Because typically, I've been using one of these. I need to add a handle here to make it a more symmetrical twist. Makes an easier tool to use. Two handles are sometimes better than one. As odd of a concept as that is to the modern mind, sometimes two handles are in fact better than one handle. smaller one's already ready for it, but we're gonna start to bring that in down to a point. Something like that. Let those get hot again. A raven flew by and told me nevermore. That's pretty funny. Seagull eat the fries before the crows get out. How you doing, Kurt? Making some twisting wrench handles for my twisting wrenches for top handles. Sometimes I get fast food, I use drive-thru and actually parking lot the crows eat. Gotcha. Okay, that's where the crows eating French fries came from. I was a confused man. I'm taking off my jacket because I'm getting warm. Yeah, I got a monkey wrench and 2 pipe wrenches, and all 3 of them are going to be made into different sizes of twisting wrench. Get the last bit of this flattened out. Just using some poor man's tool steel, also known as rebar, because it is everywhere. Now we're just working on the points that are going to become the scrolls on these. Let those heat up a little bit more. Cleaning up some new blacksmithing tools. There you go. Hey, if they're new to you, they're new. Like, I don't care how much rust they've got on them. If they're new to me, they're new. Especially once you give them, wire wheeling or vinegar bath or whatever. You do a lot of the distilled white vinegar baths, don't you? Or is that not distilled white vinegar? Is that just regular white vinegar? For those that don't know, we're talking about for rusty tools not to actually bathe our human bodies in. Nobody wants to pickle. Not themselves, anyway. That one a little bit cockeyed, so I had to fix it. But there you go. Oh, just wire wheel. Yeah, wire wheels work great. There's a lot of those dudes out there that'll tell you to use that rust away stuff. Just putting a nice clean point on it with some round corners instead of some sharp corners, so that way when we do that rollover loop, we don't have to worry about it being rough on the hand when we're trying to twist. Also just kind of refining my point shape on my taper and making sure that the taper chases all the way up to the stopping point. That way it's not asymmetrical, and that way it's actually a taper too. It's not just a bar coming off of there. That way it tapers from point to the end where those shoulders are. Makes me feel all shiny from how clean I get from it. But it stinks. That's true. It does stink. how's everybody doing out there today? Having a good old time? Aside from cleaning up some new tools and all that jazz, does anybody have some fun plans for later in the day today? Or are we just all hanging out doing our own thing? That off on the wrong angle. Now it's got the kink on me. Stand by. Technical difficulties. I screwed that right up. I need to open that back up. Got one of them pretty much perfect. Screwed the other two right on up. It's okay, they're fixable. That's good. Set that one aside for a moment. Not doing shit. I got black boogers from all the dust. Yup, that's true. That does mean you were just doing a good job cleaning. As the blacksmith, the dust is in your nose, not in on your tools. Okay, yeah, I need to open this back up real quick. I kind of screwed the pooch on this one a little bit, so I gotta open it back up real fast. Reset it. It's not going to be that hard to do though. Pop that in place real quick. Open it back up. There we go. Now bend this one on the correct angle, Zach. There you go. case of too many irons in the fire. Apocalypse causing snot rockets. Not exactly a phrase I thought I'd ever hear, but funnily enough, it's kind of a funny one. It's kind of a good one. Not gonna lie, kind of like it. Can you guys see what I'm doing? Okay? Like, are we close enough to the anvil? Is the audio okay? Like, let me know if I need to change something. I can move the camera. I can do stuff like that if you need me to. Get our tip shaped back up. Back down where it belongs. There we go. This will probably be the ugly duckling of the group just because I had to work on it more. That's okay.
Staying near perfect. Save the loose rust for pigment.
Ooh. Okay. Are you planning on using that in borax as like a welding assister? Like, are you planning on using that for like adding carbon to your weld? Because I wouldn't imagine that rust's got that much carbon to really be that helpful. Or are you doing something entirely different that I'm not even thinking of? Noticeable that I screwed it up, unless you look like right at the point of it.
Pigment for some future project, a couple of tablespoons rust for some pink pigment. Once I dyed a shirt using blackberries grown in my backyard.
That's cool. That's cool. You're 14. Blackberries are kind of a pain in the ass, from what I understand, because once they start growing, they take everything over. I'm gonna adjust you guys so you guys can see the vise. Excuse me? Yeah, you're getting muted. I have no idea what you are. not a clue who that was. Some random troll. They like to pop into people's streams and act like they... I don't even know. They're just... Yeah, that was something for sure. They're just people that have nothing better to do with their lives and have no actual goals in their lives other than to piss other people off that they don't know because it makes them feel like they have meaning. They're the kids that were bullies in high school that never outgrew the tendency and think that somebody like myself won't just mute them immediately. Guadalajara, Mexico. That's where Guadalajara is, right? Or is that Spain? Funnily enough, I'm going to be using a twisting wrench to twist the handle for the handle of the twisting wrench. So that's always fun. Yes, indeed. Those size right there is what he's talking about. What's good, sir? What's I making? I am making some handles for my twisting wrenches. Some secondary handles. Because every time I go to the guild meeting, or anytime I go to Kurt's, or anytime I go to any other blacksmith shop, I always see they have pipe wrenches or monkey wrenches with a secondary handle on the top for twisting. And I always tell myself, I'm going to do that. Then I get back to my shop, and I don't do that. Hey, how's it going, AT? Can't stay. I hope everyone has a good day. You too, brother? You too? It was good to see you while you were here. I don't have this one set at the right thickness right now for that, but it worked. Well, it just makes it easier having a handle on both sides. Now I'm just going to go ahead and straighten them up because they got bent when you twist it. When I twisted them, that's because, you know, a couple of factors can cause that, but one of them is not having a secondary handle. So we're going to use our rawhide mallet and a wood stump just to straighten them out and get it back in line. Doing this makes it to where I can straighten the material without leaving hammer marks and messing up those nice pretty twists I just put in. You guys have probably seen me do this before, probably seen this before. If you you've ever watched blacksmiths do anything with a twist, or if you yourself have twisted iron, okay, that one's good. So pull it off in the water. I'm not worried about this hardening up. If it does harden up, it might actually help me make the handles a little bit stronger. Because these aren't going to be impact tools, so I'm not worried about them shattering. Ooh, crap. My bad. What happened to your chair leg for straightening? It broke. It worked for a while, and then it broke. My chair leg shattered. Alrighty. So, move these out of the way. I don't know if the log has a nice personality. It's pretty fiery. It likes to burn up. It's pretty cherry. Yeah, it's a piece of burnt cherry from so a friend of the family had a cherry tree that caught fire, and they cut a bunch of parts off of it that burned, and that was one of them. So it's a burnt cherry stump. So it works pretty good. Now we're gonna go ahead and weld our handles on the top of these here in just a minute, and that's for all of them. They're all going to get a twisty handle welded to the top. So that's what we were making, is these extended handles on the top, so we can twist from the top and bottom on these pieces. I could have made these out of thicker steel, but this should suffice. This should be plenty strong for a twisting wrench, because when we twist, the steel is nice and hot. It twists pretty easily. Before I do that, I do need to grind the teeth off of this guy with the angle grinder real quick, so I'm going to go ahead and take it apart and go and grind it real fast. So you guys give me just a minute to get all that set up. I'll be right back to you. I just gotta go get my angle grinder set up for a grinding disc and get my PPE on real quick. So it's going to be a second, because some of that stuff's in odd places since I just reorganized the whole shop. So I'll be right back when I'm ready to get those teeth ground off.
was gonna ask you if you were a dentist and removed teeth.
Dentistry is not my specialty, but removing people's teeth is something I have indeed done.
Dick Van Schaik.
Please, please tell me that's your real name. Please, God, tell me that's your real name.
Thank you, thank you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, the channel's doing awesome. So we actually were able to finally monetize the channel, so that's awesome. There's members benefit things that I can do for people now. There's super chats that you can do now, and I'm making some a very small amount, like literally $4 or $5, off of the ad revenue. So it's gonna help fund the channel. That is your name. Freaking awesome. Oh no, I'm not. Don't take it as me teasing you. I actually genuinely love your name. My last name is Hooker. So you can understand I am a fan of names that are not normal to my region. That's great, man. I have been in a couple of streams months back. Only a couple of viewers then. Doing great. Yeah, I know. Some of my streams are like way down here, and I've had a couple of them that are pretty good. It's really hit or miss. It depends on when I'm streaming, what I'm streaming about, my energy level during the stream, all that kind of stuff. Now, where in God's name go? Absolutely. Absolutely. You have an awesome name. I like your name. Okay, now I've got the angle grinder out, and I'm just going to grind the teeth off of this, so that way, when I twist with it, it doesn't mar my steel. Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. It's okay! Didn't go deep enough to do any damage.
That's my theme song most days, ladies and gentlemen. The Derp-a-Derp song.
Remove all those teeth nicely.
Yeah, quickly and easily. Nice and smooth. Nice and smooth. No teeth. And I rounded all the edges on both pieces. So that way it's not going to bite my steel on the corners. Quick and painless for the wrench, I assure you. Quick and painless. No Novocaine needed. And it signed all the appropriate consent forms. The wrench agreed to this operation. You see, we've got something of a tranny wrench here. It was a pipe wrench, but it wants to become a twisting wrench. Luckily, since it's made of steel, it actually can do this. Right, I'll bounce on that. Lost connection there for a second. Yeah, me too. Removing the teeth. Kurt's got jokes, man. You gotta watch Kurt. He's got jokes. He's a funny man. Okay. So, now in an attempt not to overexpose my camera while I weld this together, I'm going to be having you guys look at my back while I weld this, just because I don't want you guys to go blind. First thing I need to do is move my power source close enough. Get my fan on. Oh. Pop that. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and read all your chats here in just a sec. I'm just, yeah, I gotta make sure I weld these up correctly. Give me a sec. So with this one, there was a little bit of rag causing me not to get up close, and instead of cutting it, I'm just going to use that as a root and weld out from there to make this one extra heavy duty. Oh, come on. Next.
There you go. What are you going to do with the pliers you're preparing now that you've as it's
Oh. Wow. Interesting. So what I'm doing is I'm welding these handles on the top to make them into twisting wrenches for blacksmithing. So if you twist your steel and you only have it on one side, if the weight pulls or if you get uneven with your twist, it'll make the piece kink. To alleviate that issue, I'm putting a second handle on the other side so I can twist it evenly and keep it flat. And the reason I'm doing 3 of them is because I've been using these 3 wrenches for twisting wrenches this whole time. And I figure if they're going to be dedicated twisting wrenches, I might as well just go all the way with it and make them as functional as I can. Because I'm a blacksmith, darn it. I should be doing stuff with my tools. I should be making them better, not just screwing around with them. So let me get this last one welded up and I'll show you guys what we did. shop air out for a sec. Move this. A Billings monkey wrench. It's got, the only identifier it's got that I can see is a number 1 and a X on the jaw. Some mushrooming on the back of the jaw makes me think it was used like a hammer. I'm not sure if it's a Billings because I don't see any identifying marks. There's a plus sign on the bottom and an X on the top jaw and a 1. I think I got this at one of the Blacksmith Guild meets in the raffles. Just cool these off now that they've had some time to sit and cool down. Well, it's a specialized Billings. I didn't know. Let me move you guys back over here real quick. If I can get the camera stand to cooperate with me. Dusty, dusty. I did. I've actually got the tong blanks right here for another project. I might actually make these into a pair of tongs here in just a couple minutes. Because I thought the handles were going to take a little longer than that to complete on these wrenches. Just going to brush the welds. Not too bad. Not the greatest welder. That's why I prefer blacksmithing, because with blacksmithing I can shape the steel however I want. And I don't have to worry about adding or subtracting steel, because I start with a big enough piece. There it is, there's my chipping hammer. Got a little bit of bead that I don't want. A little bit of, well, not bead, but spatter, I should say. No, I'm doing this for myself. Oh, because made out. Gotcha. Yeah, I can see where you would get confused on that. Yeah, I made out like a bandit, man. And the messed up part is I only put $10 in. Like that's all the tickets that I bought was the $10. So I was very, very lucky. Okay, so now I've got my now I've got my 3 different sizes of twisting wrench completed up. Basically, I've got a small, a medium, and a large twisting wrench for different size jobs. And now I can make a little hook mount on the side next to my get these lined up. How big am I going to need that to be? Oh, not bad. Get a 1/2 inch through there. Yeah. Anyway, I need to make a little hanger for these three. So that way I have these set up for future twisting projects, which is actually going to be rather nice. It'll be a lot easier to use these than it would have to do it the way I was doing before. Even though they're the same wrenches, they have more utility now.
Oh, I'll given the opportunity, like Zach not using Dr. Pepper bottle.
Well, that's because nobody I know drinks Dr. Pepper and gives me the bottles. Like, I'll drink it from time to time, but it's rare. Thank you. So, yeah. The way that I made them is super simple, as you guys saw. I mean, you just make a scroll on the end to where you can hang them up later. You don't even need to do the twist. I just did the twist because I like having twists in my designs. But yeah, I wanted extra long handles. And what I did is I essentially made the handles equal distance from the center of the jaw. That's how I worked these out. So that way when I'm twisting, I'm at the same width around the piece all the way around. I can easily judge if my angle's off because I have a lever extending across in both directions that's flat. And longer lever on both sides means more force that I can apply from both sides to twist. I'm not gonna disagree with you on the bacon cheeseburger, but for me it's Pepsi. I'm more of a Pepsi guy. But I mean, I'll drink Dr. Pepper if it's presented to me. But my preferred is Pepsi. My grandpa used to drink Diet Dr. Pepper, and he refused to drink water until the day he died. He got dementia. He was in Vietnam, and he was one of those guys that was like, there's so much fluoride in the water, I'm better off drinking Diet Dr. Pepper. Root beer's good too, especially if you throw some vanilla ice cream in there. The real trick is, for root beer floats, use pecan and vanilla ice cream. Now I just need to figure out how in the hell I'm going to mount these. And where I'm going to mount them. They got a good amount of weight to them. I don't want to just throw them on a shelf. Yeah. Oh, I know. There's a lot of water in Dr. Pepper. He was talking like tap water. My grandpa was a little bit of an oddball. Loved him to death, though. He was a BSer, as the best would. Like he could BS with the best of them. Heineken. Ah. Heine beer. They're actually pretty damn tall. I might not even need to hang them. I might just put them underneath my treadle hammer here. Yeah, I'll just have them over here next to the treadle hammer. That way if I need to use them, I can just grab them. The long ones are too long to store off of my anvil stand. That's pretty funny. Coffee and beer, yes. Yes. Whatever the corporate overlords tell us. Oh, damn. You must be in California. this after the project, like we tend to do. Cut in there, hammer over here. I think that was all the tooling I used for that. Yeah, I think that's all the tooling I used for that project. But I'm gonna give you guys. Let me move the camera stand real quick. Well, I've got you guys here. Let me give you guys a look at the weapons wall, if my camera will focus well enough. So we've got like the saber, the gladius, the flail, crossbow. Here we have the Darls inspired great sword. That's the 22.5 pounder. Here's the Buster sword. That's the 35 pounder. This is the needle saber. This is, or needle rapier longsword. This is my hook swords. This is a pole blade that I made just for whatever reason. This is the newest great sword all finished up, which the videos will be out January, February time on this guy. And I mean, just look at that. Need I say more? That thing is freaking beautiful. That's my most recent piece. And before you ask, yes, it is sharp. Yes, it is functional. Shield from the shield making video. Long sword that I restored that needs new leather. Saber sword. I believe that is a Syrian cavalry saber, if I'm remembering correctly. And then up there we have a World War I bayonet. It's kind of hard to see though. But yeah, figured I'd give you guys a look at the new wall of things. And then this is the new layout of the shop. You're going to see this in videos starting around that same time, February. We've got everything reorganized. The press is over here. We got the treadle hammer and vise over there. We got anvil here and a straight shot through the middle. I have a nice little circular workspace where everything is within 1 to 2 steps from the forge in order to work my steel, so I don't have to move so far in order to get to any of my tools in order to actually work in my shop. You have taste and it shows. My good man, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, right now I'm kind of debating with myself as to whether I should start this pair of tongs or whether I should start on another project. There's a lot of things I need doing. Eventually this, which I got at the raffle from the Blacksmith Guild meet, is going to become a warhammer. Not sure. I'm not quite sure what I want to do next. I think I might actually end the stream, because this stream was for the twisting wrenches, and that was the goal, and the goal is complete, so maybe we'll just do that. We'll just end it after this. Yeah, well, it was great talking to you guys. It was great hanging out with you guys. I may stream again later today. I may not. If I do, I'll put a short up telling you guys. This one? It's gonna get turned into quite a beautiful warhammer. I hope I'm not committing sacrilege by doing so. It's bent, so I'm gonna unbent it, and then I was gonna use this and this to make the hammerhead and spike. I was gonna go for a horse head on one side and a crow's beak with a crow's face, like I did on that taller warhammer on the other. So it'll be really intricate. And then I was gonna use this to make the handle. Probably draw a section of here down a little bit, so where you have that for a grip. I could do an axe too. Ooh, a horse head. Oh, I've done a bunch of warhammers. Thank you, Dick Van. I don't shike. I hope I pronounced that correctly. A lot of hammering there. Yes, indeed. but I've done much more hammering. Kurt can attest to that. No, I could do this side as the horse head and then do an axe blade on the other side. That could look pretty cool too. Do a hammer axe combo. See, now you get me thinking about what I want to do to the projects. I might actually do that. I might make a hammer axe kind of combination here instead of hammer spike. Looking forward to it. Yeah, I think that's going to be what this will become, because these are good high carbon steel. They're tough. I mean, they need to be to do the job they do. So I love making warhammers out of wrenches. Now that I know the trick about using pH down or the purple toilet bowl cleaner stuff in order to remove galvanization and zinc coatings and stuff, I'm going to be hitting yard sales hard next spring and trying to find as many big wrenches as I can possibly find that aren't made of Chinesium. Hammer axe would be awesome. Well, the public has spoken. Hammer axe it must be then. So that'll be either a future stream or a future video. Cool. Maybe I should just pick you guys' brain as to projects, like what I should make next, because you guys help me decide much faster than I otherwise would.
Railroad spike knife. Never tried to make anything else.
I've done lots of railroad spike knives. If you like doing railroad spike projects, I have a video on how I made these, and I believe Mystic Mountain Forge made an even prettier set of punch daggers like these. But what you do is you take an angle grinder or a hot cut or whatever you want to use to split it, and you split from the railroad spike head side just under halfway up, and then you turn the rest into your punch dagger blade, and you can create some really cool punch daggers out of them. Mystic Mountain Forge, I believe, is the channel that I saw it on originally, that I was trying to imitate. And these are my version of it. His are much prettier. His are, I believe, wood-handled with an overlay handle. I just did a twine wrap to make the project a little easier for people who don't have the tooling and stuff like that. Axes make good, yeah, you can make axes. You can forge weld a bit into it. You can draw the spike head into the axe. I don't know why there's so much hate online about railroad spikes, because if you can make them harden. You can give them a water quench, and they'll harden enough to make, you know, it's not going to be competitive with like high carbon spring steels or anything, but it'll make a good enough axe for, you know, kindling and that kind of stuff. I mean, we used iron tools for ages. I think people are spoiled in the modern day with the steel selection we've had. That's very true. You do live right next to that railroad track. Okay, let me grab my painter's tape and a pen. And instead of ending the stream, you guys are gonna help me. I'm gonna use the hive mind of the internet to generate some ideas, because we can think faster as a group than we can as individuals. And this way, you guys can help me decide my future projects. Do I have a pen? I have markers. I think I have a pen here. Give me just a quick sec, guys. I'm going to go grab a pen, and then I'm going to pick your brains. Alrighty, so we've got hammer axe. Underline hammer. Horse hammer. Okay. On to the question of tongs, boys and girls. We have tongs. We don't have an absolute crap ton of tongs, like some people I know. Combat war shovel blade on one side, saw on the other. That could be pretty cool. But I don't think tongs would be very good for that, brother. Oh, you're talking about the wrench. Yeah, that could be cool. I don't know if there's enough material there to make a big enough shovel. It would be kind of a tricky thing to do. But with tongs, I've got quite a few different designs of tongs. I have these flat heads right here, so I could draw these out to be a couple of different shapes. I'm trying to think what type I should make. Any ideas for like a more universal set of tongs? Specifically from Kurt or anybody that's in my chat that has done blacksmithing like myself? We can revisit the tongs later if we're having trouble deciding. Trying to think of other things that I need to make. I had a couple on a list, but I accidentally lost the list. So that's always fun. I do need to clean up some of my tools too. Cut some rag off the back end of some of my tools because they're getting close to chipping, and that's always dangerous. I don't want to have a big chip of steel come off and hit me in the face. I made some bending tools, and I've been thinking about making more. I do have more angle iron in the garage. These simple little multi-piece bending jigs for the vise. Because I have two that are one piece, and then I have one that's a three piece. I'm thinking of making one or two that are a two piece. Like with two rods on either end. What else does I need to make right now? Are you guys just enjoying me going out of my mind, running around looking for a project? Because this is like half of what I do that you guys don't see. Also, I have a bunch of these, I have like 4 of these semi-triangular cutoffs. Yeah, that's what I figured. But I have 4 of these like semi-triangular cutoffs. Entertaining. Yeah, I figured it was. What should I do with these? Like, any ideas for projects for like these semi-triangles? They're a tool steel, so they can harden. And they're about about 7.5 inches long from end to end on average. I mean, I could make hooks with them really easily, like hanging hooks. You know, scroll that end, make something artsy-fartsy on this end, punch a hole for a screw, make some hang-up stuff hooks with them, I guess. But if there's anything else you guys can think of for them, because I have tons of cutoffs. You're not helping people. I've also got jackhammer bits, like 2 of those. Got a bunch of different types of steels. I'm just trying to think of what the hell to do next. This is the hardest part of for me, is going from project to project. I have a long piece of steel, also known as rebar. Release your inner artsy on that metal. That's the problem. Is when I oh yeah, I put the hat on, by the way. I do have a really tall piece of rebar, and if you guys have seen previously, I do have a habit of making these into swords by you know, bending and twisting and whatnot. And I think I might do that. I might make another 1-piece rebar sword out of this. Could very well be a thing. Not gonna commit to it to the level of putting the blue tape on it, though. Found my blacksmith pencil, at least. That's always nice. It was in a scrap bucket, guys. A scrap bucket, of all things. Probably fell out when I was looking for a project. Yeah, well, I think we're gonna end the stream here, because I'm running out of ideas, and I don't want to waste you guys' time and bore you. So, I'll if I do come up with an idea of what I want to do next. Yeah, I have round stock tongs that fit all the kinds of rebar that I work. Like, I don't really have a lack of ability to hold stuff right now. The tong selection I have, I can grab pretty much everything I use. That's how I found you originally. That's true. That's true. It was the short and then the live stream. Well, yeah, I'll probably do that then. If I come up with another idea, I'll pop out a short and let you guys know I'm going to be live, and then I'll go live again and work on that project. But I think I'm about cooked out for today. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless. Stay sharp out there. All that jazz. If you're looking for custom sharp object, check out my Etsy store. You know, etsy.com/shop/hookersblades. I'll see you guys in the next one.